The resolution to release the Epstein files has been stopped. What did Congress do yesterday? Here are the newts. In the House, 6 measures passed their chamber vote. A rule resolution sponsored by Representative Morgan Griffith of Virginia did 3 things. It blocked House Resolution 598, which was the policy driver for the release of the Epstein files. It set debate terms for 4 measures, and it automatically passed 2 other resolutions. The first, sponsored by Rep. Barry Loudermilk of Georgia, establishes the Select Subcommittee to investigate the remaining questions surrounding January 6th. The second, supported by Rep. Brian Jack of Georgia, directs the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform to continue the ongoing investigation of the possible mismanagement of the investigation of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. This resolution also calls for the eventual release of various files as shown on screen. In short, the rules package carrying the resolution to release the files was blocked, so the release measure itself never advanced. However, a resolution directing for an investigation and an eventual release of files passed. Beyond these passing resolutions, 3 joint resolutions, nullifying rules submitted by the Bureau of Land Management, passed. These rules had tightened the scope for future fossil fuel development on federal land. First, sponsored by Rep. Julie Fedorchak, addressing North Dakota. Second, by Rep. Troy Downing, addressing Montana. And the third, by Rep. Nicholas Begish, dealing with Alaska. The House also spent time yesterday working on the Energy and Water Development and Related Agencies Appropriations Act. It was left as unfinished business, but 8 amendments were approved on the measure. 1 bill was reported to the House. Sponsored by Rep. Glenn Thompson, the United States Grain Standards Reauthorization Act, which looks to reauthorize the U.S. Grain Standards Act. In the Senate, there were 2 bills reported, one of which resulted from being discharged from its committee. First, sponsored by Senator John Thune of South Carolina, the Tribal Trust Land Homeownership Act, which requires the Bureau of Indian Affairs to follow set timelines for reviewing and approving certain mortgages and right-of-way documents on tribal trust lands. Second, from the discharge, a joint resolution sponsored by Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, blocking an EPA approval of Florida's air plan changes to remove old Clean Air Interstate Rule provisions. Across both chambers, 43 measures were introduced. That's your day on the Hill. Follow Newt, your source for clear, fact-based Congress updates.